Hi everyone, welcome to Educa. Today we are with the third part of changes in matter. We're going to discuss about combustion. When magnesium burns in air, magnesium reacts with oxygen in air forming magnesium oxide. Oxygen gas in air is essential for combustion. Oxygen is the gas in air that support for combustion. There are substances which can be burned and which cannot be burned. The substances that can be burned are known as combustible substances. Let's see some examples for combustible substances. Camphor, wax, sulfur, sugar, lacquer, paper, tar, flour, petrol and kerosene. The substances that cannot be burned are non-combustible substances. Examples are asbestos, glass, sand and rock. Combustion is the reaction of combustible substances with a gas which act as a supporter of combustion. The special feature of the reaction of combustion is that is a chemical change which takes place releasing thermal energy and light energy. A combustible substance has to be heated to certain temperature for combustion. The temperature changes from substance to substance. The temperature at which a combustible substance begins combustion in the air is called ignition temperature or ignition point. Let's do this activity to compare the ignition temperatures of several combustible substances. We need a tin lid, stand, match, piece of paper, cotton wool, magnesium ribbon, sugar, piece of sulfur. What we have to do, fix the tin lid to the stand. Place the above substances on the lid. Keep the Bunsen burner underneath the tin lid of the heat. Observe the practical. In this practical, the substances which ignite early have low ignition temperature. A combustible substance starts to burn after it gets heated to its ignition point. Thus, three main factors essential for combustion and can be identified. They are presence of combustible substance, having access to supporter of the combustion, heating the combustible substance to its ignition temperature. Let's discuss about fire triangle. This is the fire triangle. Pay your attention to fire broken out by accident. The fire should be extinguished to prevent damage. If a fire is to be extinguished, the factors causing fire should be removed from the fire. The following figure, which shows the relationship among the factors required to create a fire, is known as fire triangle. Examine it well. To extinguish a fire, it is required to prevent the access of the support of combustion to the fire, prevent reaching the ignition temperature, and remove the combustible substances. The method we use to extinguish a fire mostly in throwing water over burning material. In addition to this, covering the burning substance with the sand and wet dunies is also done. When water is sprayed over the fire, it is extinguished. This is because when water evaporizes, absorbing heat from the burning material, temperature of under falls below the ignition temperature. When somebody's clothes catch fire, the more suitable method to extinguish it is to roll on the ground. This helps to break connection between air, the support of combustion, and the material that has caught fire. When the clothes are on fire, you should never run. During running, more and more oxygen is supplied to the fire, so it is spread faster. The same method cannot be used to extinguish all fires. The nature of the fire should be identified and the appropriate method should be selected. Let's discuss about fuels. Fuels are substances used to generate heat, energy and light energy by combustion. Examples for solid fuels: firewood, coconut husk, coconut shells, and wax. Liquid fuels: kerosene, petrol, diesel, and coconut oil. Gaseous fuel: liquid petroleum gas, coal gas, methane. Almost every fuel contains the elements carbon and hydrogen. Let's do this activity. To identify the products of formed during the combustion of fuel, we need a candle, boiling tube, a bottle, a funnel, lime water, copper sulfate. What we have to do, arrange the apparatus as shown in the figure. Connect the boiling tube or bottle with the lime water to the aspirator. Light the candle and operate the aspirator. When the aspirator works, an air current is drawn through the apparatus from the funnel to the boiling tube. U-tube contains anhydrous copper sulfate, that is white color. The boiling tube or bottle contains colorless lime water. When the candle is lit and the aspirator is set to work, you will observe that white anhydrous copper sulfate turns blue. Also, it can be seen that lime water turns milky. White anhydrous copper sulfate turns blue because of the water or water vapor drawn into the U-tube. Lime water turns milky due to the carbon dioxide gas. This activity indicates that when a candle burns, water and carbon dioxide gas were produced. Thus, in the combustion of fuels, water and carbon dioxide gas were produced as the products. Let's see complete combustion and incomplete combustion of fuels. Complete combustion occurs when an adequate oxygen gas, that means support of combustion, is supplied for combustion. You know that fuels contain elements carbon and hydrogen. On complete combustion, carbon gives carbon dioxide and hydrogen gives water. More heat is produced by the complete combustion. The combustion occurring in an inadequate supply of oxygen is called incomplete combustion. In this, carbon monoxide and unburned carbon particles are also produced in addition to carbon dioxide and water. In incomplete combustion, the quality of heat produced by the flame is relatively low. Let's discuss about the candle flame. When a candle is lit, solid wax turns into liquid wax. Liquid wax moves up through the wick and vaporizes. These wax vapors react with oxygen and produce heat and light, giving rise to the flame of the candle. The inner zone is the non-luminous zone. It contains wax vapor. Its temperature is low relatively to that of the other zones. Outer of the non-luminous zone is the luminous zone. The unburned carbon particles present in that zone becomes incandescent, emitting a yellow light. The temperature in this zone is greater than that of the non-luminous zone. Out of the luminous zone is another zone which appears in blue color at the base of the flame but is hardly visible in other areas. This is known as the out zone, invisible zone, and has highest temperature. Let's discuss about the Bunsen flame. The color of the Bunsen flame changes with the amount of oxygen gas supplied for the combustion. When the oxygen supply decreases, the flame turns into yellow, and when the flame receives enough oxygen, it turns to blue. At the center of it is the non-luminous zone consisting of unburned gas. Out of the non-luminous zone lies a dark blue zone and a light blue zone respectively. The outer part is the invisible zone. In the invisible zone, complete combustion occurs. This is what we have to learn as a third part of the lesson. Let's meet with our new video.